Hello Kerfufflers, it's Mincy here and it's time for another Top 5 at 5. And today's Top 5 are the Top 5 Property Industry Podcasts. Numero uno, number one, the undisputed champions of the property industry podcast arena is, of course, the Kerfuffle podcast. Now, let's face it, we're going to be a little bit biased about this one, but it is a great podcast. Not only do you have a little bit of humour, a lot of levity, you do get some knowledge in there as well, some industry news and views, some gossip. And from time to time, we have some fantastic guests from both here in the property industry in the UK and also from across the water in Australia. So we've really had it all so far. It might not be the most regular of podcasts, but it's certainly the best. Number 2. Now, what podcast list would be complete without the mention of Mr. Stephen Brown and Luke Sinclair, and occasionally Mr. Andy Overman as well. The Estate Agents podcast does exactly what it says on the tin, and it might not have the most imaginative of titles, but it is very consistent. You can find them pretty much every Sunday morning at 9 a.m, or at least you'll find mostly Stephen Brown and Luke Sinclair, and Andy Overman will drop in from time to time when he's not too busy playing Superman to the people of Thetford. It's a great podcast. It's got some really practical hints and tips. Luke Sinclair is an absolute wealth of knowledge, and of course Stephen Brown, the nicest man in the property industry. It's worth a listen. Number 3, the World Class Agency Podcast. This is run by two lovely chaps, Mark Worrell and Sam Hunter, our resident Aussie at Home Search. Sam and Mark run a tight ship with a fairly fixed format that they have with their guests. Always offers some great insights and nuggets there. They've had a range of guests, including yours truly. Definitely worth checking out that episode. There's always something to take away. Number 4, and this one is a bit of a newcomer, but quickly making its way up the charts. We've got the Brewman Podcast from Nicola Brewman. Nicola is a recruitment expert. That's what she does on the day-to-day, but her podcast tends to cover the more touchy-feely side of our industry and has a strong focus on mental health, and also shines a light on other key topics such as women in our industry and diversity. Number 5, and we've got a bit of a tie here at number 5, but we've got Jerry Lyons, who has got his Business for Good podcast, which has just come out recently. It's a very recent addition to our podcast chart. Jerry is a well-known face in the industry, one of the good guys really. His podcast is all about ethical business, and it's definitely going to be worth a listen and one to watch for the future. And the other one I put in at number 5 is Mr. Chris Watkins, right? He runs the Letting and Estate Agent podcast, which has been going for absolute donkey's years. There are more episodes on there and more topics than Simon Wales had Greg's. So basically, it's an unlimited supply of podcasts. So that's Mincy's 5 at 5 for today. Join us tomorrow when we'll have another Top 5 at 5.